What's up, badass nerds? I think it's time for an upgrade. Much better. Crap, I downgraded again. Well, anyway, if my subtle hint in the beginning didn't give you any clue, I want to review the movie Upgrade. I went to see it a couple days ago. I was stoked for this movie because it's about a guy who becomes a quadriplegic, and this thing called STEM, it's this little thing that they put in his spine. It's like a microchip sort of thing. It helps him to move again, and then he tracks down the people that killed his wife. Now, it was much different than I thought it was going to be, but it was still super good. It was still funny. It was still action-packed. And the main actor, Logan Marshall Green, was superb. He has to go through a wide range of emotions for this movie, and he does it flawlessly. He can be funny and then be serious and then be crying, like, just fluidly, and it's a gift, I think. I told you what the movie was mainly about, but there are some subtle differences from the trailer to the screen. I mean, that's what I said it was about, is what the trailers basically tell you it is about. But when you watch the movie, there are some slight differences, like Gray Trace, which is the main character's name in the movie, the one that Logan Marshall Green plays. I hate that name, Gray Trace. It sounds like a Just for Men product. But anyway, his character is a technophobe, and this is set in a near future. It is like our world, but slightly into the future, because there is a lot more technology. People have technology in their bodies, and Gray Trace does not like any of it. He restores old cars, and like his wife has a self-driving car that she literally just sits in the back of, and it takes her around as if a cab driver were in that front seat, except there's no cab driver. And he makes fun of her for it, and he hates technology. When the whole killing of the wife happens, what happens is her car malfunctions because, someone is messing with it on purpose, and they get into this car accident, and then they are met by these 6 guys. I believe it's 6 or 5. Anyway, they kill her and they sever her spine. When this happens, a snowball effect takes place where everything just starts building up, and it's the parts of the movie where he is quadriplegic, they were hard for me to watch, especially when he first gets hurt and he's in the hospital. He has a trach in, which I have a scar from right here, and he has this brace on his chest, and I had the same thing, and like, he's basically in a medicated coma.
As a quadriplegic, it must be frustrating for you, someone who liked to get things done with their hands.
I basically lost it, and I was crying in the movie theater. And my friend, who usually makes fun of me for crying at things, she knew better than to say anything, because I think she knew why I was crying, because I wasn't just like crying like, oh, that's a sad movie, crying. I was heaving sobs, because I just imagine what I looked like to my friends and family. I mean, in the movie setting, everything looks all clean and just normalized a little more. I know that when I was in the hospital, I did not look like that. Because I have pictures from down the line, like a couple months later, and I still looked like real bad. And so I can imagine when I had all those tubes and wires, I did not look as clean and sleek as they made it look in the movie. I can just imagine what my friends and family saw. There are some scenes where, as a quadriplegic, watching them was hard. There's another scene where, like, his beard grows out because he was in the hospital for months, and then they give him this home that can basically do anything he needs for him. And so he's in this home, and his mother is there with him, and she starts trimming his beard, and he just starts crying, and she just hugs him, and that was another part where I was sobbing, because I know that feeling where you literally can't do anything, and you have to have someone do something for you that's so, just feels so degrading and so dehumanizing. And then he tries to kill himself because there's this machine that gives him night meds, and he kept saying error, need night meds again, and kept shooting him in the hand. And then it was like, cannot give any more meds, it could be fatal to your health. And he's just like starts drooling and passes out, ends up in the hospital. And that's where this guy comes in that has the stem thing that can go into his spine, and he talks him into letting him put it in, and then there's no more like quad scenes, really. Sort of, there is, because he has to sign a non-disclosure agreement, so he has to pretend to be a quadriplegic in a couple of scenes, but like, because you know he's not, it wasn't as rattling for me. So basically, gets the thing put in. There's a lot more gore in the movie than I had anticipated, and when I read reviews and stuff, it says that it's a horror movie, so I guess this can count a little bit as one of my free cat movie reviews, but it wasn't scary. I think the horror comes from a place of people being afraid of technology taking over, and you won't really get that unless you watch the entire movie and see what happens at the end. So there was a lot of gore. When they put the thing in his spine, it shows his back cut open, and it's like the skin folded back, and it's gross. And then it in other scenes it shows when he's finding these guys, like, he is not a violent person, but the stem thing in his body has a voice, and it can talk to him in his head, and nobody else can hear it. The stem can take over his body, and it can do way more than he can. Like, it knows how to fight and knows all these karate moves, and it can calculate what to do next and how to get out of situations. So, like, when it takes over, he's just kind of there for the ride, his mind is.
Are you one of them?
Yeah.
Stanley can take over.
Thank you. I now have full control.
Hi!
And he's watching, like, his body beat and torture these people, and he is just, he's not into that, because this one guy that he's fighting, he's like hitting him, or his body's hitting him, and like smashing plates into his head, and he's just like, ugh! And then the guy like falls down. He's like, dude, please stay down, please stay down, please stay down. And he gets back up, and he's like, ugh, because then his body just keeps like ramming him with like sharp objects and just bashing his face in, and he's just like, no. And then he almost cuts the dude's head off. And that's another part of the gore. He cuts through his mouth, and it goes up, all the way up on both sides. So it's like a Joker smile, but like way, way worse. One that kills you. And it's really gory. It's almost Tarantino-esque, except the gore looks much more real in this movie than in Tarantino movies. So yeah, he is... Gray Trace is not so much a violent person, but this thing in his body is... I wouldn't say it's violent because it's a robot, but it's because it doesn't understand what human pain and suffering feels like and all that. But then again, I don't know, because at the end of the movie, it just is a mind fuck, really. the end of the movie is such a mindfuck. It has a twist ending. Nothing really gets resolved. It's sad and it's fucked up at the same time, and it's just, whenever I leave a movie that has a twist ending or that kind of like leaves off and it doesn't like finish the movie up, I kind of have this anxious feeling in like my soul, where it's like, why aren't you wrapped up in a little package? I can't stop it. And that, I felt that way a little bit. If it hadn't been for the movie being so late and for me getting caught in the rain beforehand and being soaked and freezing the entire time, I would have thought more about it, but I was just cold and tired, and all I wanted to do was get in my van and turn the heat on blast. So, but once I got comfortable, I started thinking about the end of the movie, and I was just like, twitch. It was really good. It got an 86% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think it deserved a little more because the movie was so good and intricate and well thought out and well played out. Does that make sense? I don't know. It wasn't A Quiet Place good, but it was just under A Quiet Place. Like, it's a new train of thought. It's a new concept. It's just new and well done and well acted, and yeah, so the last two movies I've seen have been absolutely amazing. So I guess I've just been picking the right movies to go to instead of being like, oh, the person I like is in that movie. But actually, I saw A Quiet Place because John Krasinski was in it. Anyway, that's not the point. I definitely would recommend this movie. If you're squeamish, you might want to look away during some parts. But I would still watch it. There's not that much gore in it, so if you're afraid of technology, you probably wouldn't watch it anyway because you have to use technology to watch movies. Right. So, yeah, you should go see it. I don't know if it's in many theaters anymore, but I mean, because I saw it really late because of issues with my chair. But now I'm back, and I'm going to try to be better at YouTube. Not promising anything, because I suck, but I'm gonna try. Anyway, like this video if you liked it. If you didn't, please don't dislike it. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you are subscribed, hit that bell notification so that you can see when I post. And that's all I got. Keep being badass, keep being nerdy, much love, and peace out, y'all.